It is our traditions, ceremonies, and rituals. Each small detail carries a deep layer of our ancestors' wisdom. It is our pride, our treasure, our national encyclopedia. Let's turn the pages of this encyclopedia together. In European culture, the term etiquette was officially introduced in the 17th century. The French king instructed to distribute to his loyal subjects special sheets with the written rules of conduct to be followed during the meetings with the monarch. There were no such written rules of conduct in the steppe, but this does not mean that there was no etiquette. Moreover, these unwritten rules have been passed from one generation to another for hundreds of years through the traditions and customs. Why can one enter yurt with kamshi in the hand? How do the Kazakh women greet each other? And what is the similarity of the Kazakh family meal and the ceremony of the aristocratic houses? The very foundation of the Kazakh culture is strong family relationships. In the old days, there was always close communication between the nomadic communities despite the long distances, and locals of the central part of Aul village were aware of the life of the neighbors that stay on the outskirts of Aul. Every meeting and contacts of neighbors, relatives, guests and strangers was accompanied with a special ritual of the greeting.
Қонақтың бірінші үйге табанды аттап, баспалдырықты аттап кіруімен қонақтың жатуы.
The Kazakhs have etiquette which they follow from the moment the guest enters the house, stays at host's home and leaves. Compliance with the rules of this etiquette was mandatory. These are unwritten rules. The Kazakhs do not have etiquette in the form of written code of conduct, morality or law on how to behave. But parents, grandparents raising their children and grandchildren teach these rules starting from the very early age. First of all, it is a genetic code. What does the genetic code mean? A child born in any Kazakh, Turkmen, Russian family or any other nationality has a certain genetic code. It is transmitted by blood. However, it can be either a positive or a negative genetic code. Our traditions are considered to be a positive genetic code.
Біздің салт-дәстүрлеріміздің өзі сол жағымды генетикалық код болып есептелінеді.
There is a Kazakh folk saying, a greeting is the mother of the world, and this attitude is still alive in our everyday life. The Kazakhs pay special attention to the greeting. By the way, early in the steppe it was even possible to guess the social status of people by their greeting. A man of low birth, while greeting the Khan or Sultan, used to put both hands on the chest and welcomed with bowing. A noble or nomad put the hand on the shoulder in return, and if he wanted to show the respect to someone of the lower status, then he shook hands. Modern leaders unwittingly copy this manner of behavior and use while greeting their subordinates. When the Kazakh men meet each other, it is customary to greet with embrace and give each other a pat on the back. However, there are some features in the greetings of women.
Енді әйел адамның өзара амандасуыменен олардың ер адамымен амандасуының арасында
There is a certain difference between the greeting of women with each other and the greeting of men. Usually women greet men by nodding their heads with warm smile and words, hello, welcome.
сөздерменен көбіне амандасады.
The daughters-in-law bow to the elders, to the relatives of the husband, thus expressing their respect. In ancient times, these signs had their own characteristics. Each ethnic group has different kinds of the greetings peculiar to this or that ethnic group.
Белгілер болған. Әр халықтағы да ерекшелік әртүрлі деп айтуға болады. Мысалы,
For example, the Japanese make bows so that their head touch the ground. Also, there is a middle bow when people nod the head. The kind of bow depends on age, authority, and status.
бедел абыройына, сосын оның бір қалай деп айтсақ, қоғамдағы орнына байланысты ерекшелік екен. Сол сияқты біздің
We also have an established form of respect, a greeting with a bow, and there are different kinds of this bow. For example, bow with placing their hands on the knees, on the chest. This tradition well preserved, especially in the southern and Mangistau regions. It is a sign to express high respect and esteem to the elder generation.
Әсіресе оңтүстік облыстарда, сосын Маңғыстау өлкесінде бұл бұлжымайтын қалыптасқан мәселе.
Step etiquette was followed by the travelers who visited auls. The guest never entered yurt in the outer clothing and with weapon in hands. Clothing and weapon were taken by host or children. The guests walked into yurt only with kamshi, whip. Kamshi is a sacred object for the nomads, and they believed that whip warded off evil spirits.
Біздің халқымыздың ежелден келе жатқан ерекше салты ол қонақ.
The custom of hospitality has been a special tradition of our people for many centuries. The Kazakhs say, one of the 40 guests is a holy Kadir, mythic figure that brings happiness and wealth, and guest brings wealth. Therefore, for the Kazakhs, guest welcoming is a certain duty. Everyone knows the legend about the forefather of the Kazakhs, Alash Khan, who distributed his property among 3 sons, and the 4th part he left for the guests. This explains how the Kazakh people are glad to welcome the guests and shows their hospitality. There is one folk proverb: when a welcome guest comes, there will be learning. Actually, there are several types of guests: a welcome guest, a random guest, an unexpected guest, and nowadays there is a new type called qilg'itpa qo'naq. It is a type of guest who loves to eat. So each of the concepts has its own meaning. The Kazakh customs of guest welcoming are same like secular etiquette, and the guest will be welcomed at the same level as in the aristocratic houses. Any Kazakh family keeps the best thing for the guests. In the old days and today, there is an unwritten rule that the guest to sit at the place of honor. In Kazakh, it's called tur. If there are several guests, then this place is offered to the most respected elder person. Next respected person sits on the right side of the most respected guest. The host sits on the left side of the respected guest. Next to him sits his wife, then other members of family. This manner of sitting at the table reflects the manner which was followed many years ago in the youth. The Kazakh people still remember that at the dastakhan table, there are special places on the left and right sides where people sit depending on their age, sex and status. In the old days, the nomads first offered the place of honor, gave an opportunity to relax, offered kumiz, sour milk, camel milk. Only after the visitor has rested and eaten, the owner of the yurt could ask if everything was good, how did people live in the place where the traveler came from, and there is an explanation of this smooth ritual.
Қонақ дегеннің өзі жалпы осы адам болып дүниеге келдің ба?
The concept of guest means that if you were born as a person, then you are a guest in this world only for a certain period of time. So in comparison to the modern understanding in ancient times, the attitude toward the guest was completely different. The word guest means to stay, to sleep over.
Басқаша болған. Қонақ деген сөздің жалпы мағынасы қону деген мағына.
In Kazakh families, before serving hot dishes, the younger members of family bring water and towel so that elders can wash their hands. Sometimes small children arrange this and hear elders say bata, an ancient ritual of telling blessing. In return for bringing water, the Aksakals, elders, tell their blessing: be happy, be brave, Jigit, be the lovely son of your people. Here, hot dish is served, and the most important sign of decency here, before the eldest person does not say the prayer and does not try dish, the younger ones do not try this dish. It is important to know that the Kazakh feast is not only eating, it is a basis of Kazakh culture. Here, the one can see the whole soul of the Kazakh people. Problem-solving, news of family and friends, everything is discussed at the dastakhan. At the same time, it's not appropriate for the younger to meet the elders' conversations. Usually, they just listen. In addition, after the family finishes feast, the younger members get up from the table only after the elders tell the blessing.
Біздің күндегі кешкі тамағымыздың өзі сол ақсүйектердің.
Even our daily dinner is a table set in accordance with aristocratic etiquette. We put a big dish in the center of the table. We sit down to eat only when our father comes. Father or grandmother tries the dish first, and then we put dish on our plate. We get up from the table after my father gives the blessing and gets up from his place. If there is any tasty dish on the table, we try it only after the grandmother tries it. All of these actions refer to the unwritten everyday family etiquette of the Kazakhs. In the Kazakh families, there is a peculiar tradition of seeing the respected people off. When the guest is leaving the house, he or she opens the door by himself or herself. The guest is followed by the host. In the old days, if the guest was on foot, the host accompanied him or her to the outside of aul, and if she or he came on horse, then the host helped to sit on horse. Why does not the host hurry to open the doors of the house while seeing the guest off? Because this is considered a sign of rudeness, as if the host is throwing the guest out of the house. The opening the doors by the guest means that the doors of this house are always open to this guest. Many Kazakhs still remember the custom connected with the guest's desire. He or she could point out anything in the house that he or she liked, and the host was obliged to give it to the guest.
Солай бола турса да, егер ол таныс болсын, бейтаныс адам болсын, міндетті түрде этикет бойынша, ырым бойынша.
According to the step etiquette, any friend or unfamiliar person was welcomed with a ceremony of hospitality. People say it is impossible to sew a fur coat from a headscarf, but you can give it as a gift. The Kazakhs meet the guests with honor and respect and see them off with warm words and good wishes. Why did the Kazakhs love their guests? Because the arrival of the guests, especially in transit, was a great holiday for the whole family and for the whole aul. All locals of aul, family members, gathered together on this occasion. If there were poets and singers among relatives and friends, they were asked to demonstrate their skills to cheer up the guests. Therefore, the guests who were in transit were called random guests, and the Kazakhs paid special attention to them. Relationships and mutual respect between family members are connected to traditions and customs which are still alive and used in our everyday life. Features of family etiquette are guided by Kazakh customs. Thus, the youngest child of the family should live in the house of parents and take care of them. In addition, the Kazakhs had a whole institute of the education of daughters.
Қазақ енді шаңырақтың иесі ұлға деген, ұл балаға деген өзінің көзқарасы болған, және қазақта қыз балаға деген.
Among the Kazakhs, there was a particular relevance to the sons, and their daughters were always treated with respect. There is an expression "kız konak," which means daughter is a guest in the house. She always sat on the place of honor. After marriage, when she visits her parents, she also sits on the place of honor. It was believed that the daughters were born for another family. That is why they were treated with honor and respect. The daughter lived in the father's house for only about 20 years, then left to her husband's family. She had to become a member of another family with its own traditions and morals. To live among other people, she became a member of a new family. Of course, the Kazakhs still have this attitude to the daughter like to the guest, and respect for the daughters.
Қызға деген қонақ ретінде қарау, қызға деген сыйластық, ол осы күнге дейін сақталған.
Қазақтың қыздары оң жақта отырғанда еркін бұла болып өседі.
The Kazakh girls always sit on the right side. They grow up in freedom and carelessness. However, living in this freedom, they follow certain laws. Grandmothers, mothers, and elder daughters-in-law always tell them about becoming the daughter-in-law of a great dynasty in future, about becoming a beloved wife of a man. Elders always brought up and guided the lives of daughters in this manner.
Ер азаматтың жары болу мүмкіндігін ескеріп, сол тұрғыдан тәрбиенің бойына сіңіріп отырған.
Step etiquette was not written down on paper. It was not established by Khan decree. These rules were not carved in stone. It is rather preserved as a certain genetic code. It can be traced in folk customs and traditions which are based on the warm relationships, respect, and recognition of the unity of people. The Kazakh village does not exist in the way it used to be, and there are no nomads, wandering people. But most of prairie folkways and traditions still surround us. We follow them, but we not always know what they mean. Bahit Kairbekov, poet.